Before we get too deep into the intro, I want to thank all of our sponsors who brought all the fantastic food. Coffee was provided both by libraries and by the other batch of coffees was UIS. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yay! Those cookies came also from UIS. The donuts were provided from the U Foundation. They came from Sarah James, right? Kirk? Yep. Thank you. The pizza, which will be coming later, was provided by the Office of Information Technology. And the beverages came from Mini WebCon. So thank you to them. And if you're interested, if your organization is interested in helping sponsor future Tech People events, come talk to me afterwards. I mentioned I was on the Tech People Committee. These are the folks that are on the Tech People Committee. I think just due to life circumstances, 3 of us are here. Joe is there in the back, and Jenny is somewhere. Standing next to Joe. And Connor is also here somewhere. Right there. Thank you, Connor. Andrew and Gabe couldn't make it today, but they were a huge help in putting all this stuff together. And I think it was Jenny that discovered that we could just have this whole room for free, which blew my mind. So thank you to Jenny for that. So as an intro to Tech People, these are the 2 questions I get asked the most. Wait, what? Why? Why have another meeting? What is Tech People that is different from all the other meetings that I already attend? And what I say to that is that Tech People is not a uniform group. We are comprised of several smaller groups that don't always talk to one another. And so our job as Tech People is to take those groups and give you the opportunity to talk to one another and eat donuts and cookies and pizza. So as an intro to Tech People, there isn't a way I can just say, well, this is Tech People. What I want to intro to you is what are the component groups that make up Tech People. And there might be stuff in here that you didn't even know happens. I know I continually learn about new groups here at the university all the time. So the first one that makes up, I actually have this clicker. I keep forgetting it. So the first group is Code People. Code People meets every month, the first Thursday at Walter Library, except for when we have happy hours, which we do a couple times a year. We have a website there, Code People, umn.edu. And what are you going to hear about at Code People? You're going to hear about programming. You're going to hear about databases. You're going to hear some dev operational talks. You're going to be able to eat those donuts that Kirk brings and the coffee that Cody brings. Usually runs a couple hours. It's a great place to talk about these sorts of topics. Nope, that's the laser pointer. There we go. The second group that makes up Tech People is Web People. Web People meets the 3rd Friday during the academic year. I actually forgot to ask where they meet, so just wander around campus. You can also find out by joining their Google group. What are you going to hear about at Web People? You're going to hear about web accessibility, web technologies, CSS, Drupal, all the stuff that goes into actually communicating all the cool stuff we do with the world. Oh, and you get to eat pizza. Web People also host a yearly conference, the Mini WebCon, that just happened. And that's been going on for 10 years and is fantastic. Third group, Net People. Net People gets to be the big lion because I think they're the oldest of the groups. They meet the 2nd Thursday at Walter. They have a Google group, Net People. What are you going to hear about there? You're going to hear about networking, computer security, actually making all those computers talk to one another, a technology that I do not understand at all. And they also provide cookies. Yeah, cookies. Green Lion DevOps. DevOps was a group, then wasn't a group, and now is a group again. They give their talks at Code People, but they also just ran their first very successful conference, DevOps Days at UMN. That was during spring break. That was a fantastic conference. And what do they talk about? They talk a lot about collaboration between the people who program things and the people who make it run on computers, automation of those computers, and automation of those networking tools, and a lot of things that make once we write awesome code or websites or anything like that, actually allow us to safely and repeatedly put it out into the world. And they have donuts because they're Code People, and Code People has donuts. And then I found out there's too many lions in Voltron. I will say, though, there are so many pieces of the IT puzzle here at the University of Minnesota that I don't know about. When we have our next Tech People meeting in November, you're going to be hearing from one of those groups, academic technologists. They're a huge part of how things get done in IT here at the university. And I don't hear from them often enough. And so we've asked them to come, and they're going to be coming from 3 or 4 campuses to give a presentation on what academic technologists do throughout the entire U system. So maybe they get to be Yellow Lion next time. But you put all these things together, what do you get? You get Tech People. We meet every 6 months. Right now we're on a schedule of May to November, which seems to work pretty well. We have that website where we put up our agendas. And I think probably the most important piece of technology we use is that Slack. That Slack has channels dedicated to all the groups that I just mentioned, and it also has channels dedicated to any weird technology you want to talk about. It's free to all, anyone with the UMN.edu email address, which means all the folks that aren't at the Twin Cities have to send me an email and say, hey, I'm not at UMN.edu because Google's weird, but we can get you in. So we're trying to fix that problem. And the nice thing about us is that we get all the treats, right? So what can you do to make Tech People grow? The number one thing you can do after this meeting is to go tell your coworker or your boss or someone who wasn't here what you learned and why it was valuable. I had a meeting with Bernie Gulacek a couple months ago where I was saying, man, it would be great if OIT told everyone how great these conferences are. And he said, that's not our job. That is your job. And he was right. So now it is your job. Go tell people how great this was, assuming it was great. Like, let's just take that as a given. Because if they aren't able to come because they didn't think it was important, or they aren't able to come because their boss didn't think it was important, you going out and telling them how valuable it was helps change that conversation. And we can fit at least twice as many people in here. The seat's about 400. If we actually got everyone who's part of the IT picture here at the university, I think we need 3 of these auditoriums. So let's fill up this space. Connor's going to be sending out a survey to all the attendees at the end of this event. Please fill it out. We're just looking for some advice on how to improve this next time. Number 1, louder speakers, apparently. Join the component groups. There isn't like a Tech People mailing list to join. Join the component groups, the ones that are relevant to you. We're going to publicize Tech People events through those groups. We'll publicize them through the Slack. It's important to join the component groups and keep them going. Talk on Slack. That link will take you to how to sign up for the Slack. And you can help with future Tech People events if you're interested in helping the committee or helping organize things, or to speak at future events. You can always just email me or talk to me on Slack. Take a break here. Raise your hand if you were Nate Werner. Hi, thank you. No one was on the committee knew what Nate looked like. We were like, Nate's speaking. Is he here? So great. Fantastic. This is our agenda for the day. We're going to be starting off with Phoebe. Phoebe, if you're ready. Yeah, it's 9:40, so it's time for me to shut up. Take breaks as you need. I will say that one of the most valuable things to do here is to have those conversations out amongst the coffee and the donuts. So please take advantage of that time.